My name is Wilma. Standing in the grand wedding hall, I'm seething with anger and a pang of humiliation. Sophia, with her eyes full of icy contempt, sneered at me. What are you doing here? I never invited you. Her words hit me like a thunderbolt. I stammered, what do you mean? We're family. We belong here. But she just curled her lips into a cruel smirk and spat out, having a family as poor and pathetic as yours at our wedding? What a disgrace. I don't consider you family. Now get out. As I stand here, watching her revel in her cruelty, it feels surreal to think about how we got to this point. I was born into a close-knit family. My parents, Tom and Lily, were simple yet hard-working people. Dad was a carpenter, crafting beautiful furniture with his calloused hands, while Mom worked part-time at a local diner to make ends meet. My older brother, Ethan, was my rock. We grew up sharing dreams and secrets in our small but cozy home. I met my husband, Leo, during my freshman year at college. He was an exchange student from a war-torn country. His family had lost everything, and he was determined to build a new life for himself. One day, as I was struggling with a heavy stack of books, he came to my rescue. With a warm smile, he said, "Let me help you. You seem like the only ray of sunshine in this campus chaos." At that moment, I thought he was just being charming, but as time passed, I realized he was the most genuine person I'd ever met. Leo was incredibly kind-hearted. When I caught the flu, he took care of me day and night. He made me homemade soup, ran errands for me, and even helped me catch up on my coursework. I knew then that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. However, our relationship wasn't without its challenges. By our senior year, I landed a stable job at a local marketing firm, but Leo faced rejection after rejection. His dream of working in a tech startup was constantly dashed, and he was left feeling lost. We had planned to get married right after graduation, but our financial situation made it difficult. Ethan, who was in medical school at the time, was a great support. Despite his busy schedule, he always found time to check on us. "How's Leo holding up?" He'd ask gently. I'd admit, it's tough. He's still searching for a job and doesn't know what to do next. Ethan would then encourage Leo, saying, "Keep your head up. You're smart and talented. Something great is bound to come your way." Leo had a tough childhood. His parents died in the war when he was just a teenager, and he had to fend for himself. He managed to get a scholarship to college, working part-time jobs like delivering pizzas and tutoring younger students just to survive. But he never let his past get him down. He'd always say, "The past is over. If I work hard, I can create a better future." Eventually, Leo landed a sales job at a small tech company. It wasn't his dream job, but he was determined to make the best of it. Once we both had jobs, we moved into a tiny apartment. Leo looked at me with hopeful eyes and said, "It's not much, but it's our home." I smiled back and replied, "It may be small and old, but we'll make it a place full of love." A year later, Leo proposed to me. We got engaged, and Ethan was overjoyed. He pulled Leo aside and said seriously, "Take good care of my sister. She can be a bit stubborn sometimes, but I know you'll make her happy. And if you ever need anything, I'm here." Leo smiled and promised, "I'll make sure she's the happiest woman in the world." But not everyone was happy about our marriage. Leo's distant aunt, who was a wealthy businesswoman, looked down on us. When she heard about our engagement, she scoffed, "You're both so young. Why rush into marriage? You should be out having fun and enjoying life. Don't expect me to support your little union." She didn't show up at our wedding, and she never sent us a single congratulatory message. On the contrary, my parents and Ethan were over the moon. They supported us in every way they could, helping us with the wedding preparations and making it a beautiful day. As the years went by, we had a daughter named Ava. She was the light of our lives, and our little family was complete. I always hoped that Ethan would find someone special too. He was a dedicated doctor, working long hours at the hospital, but he deserved a partner to share his life with. Then one day, Ethan called me and said, "I have something important to tell you. I'm coming over." Ava was so excited. "Uncle Ethan's coming. I hope he stays the night," she said, bouncing up and down. When Ethan arrived, he was beaming with happiness. "I have big news." "Don't be too shocked," he said with a wink. I grinned and guessed, "You're getting married, aren't you?" His smile widened. "Yes. Her name is Sophia. She's a fashion designer. We met at a charity event, and she wants to focus on being a homemaker after marriage." Leo and Ava congratulated him, but something about it made me uneasy. Sophia seemed eager to give up her career right after marriage, and their courtship had been so short. I gently advised Ethan, "Maybe you should wait a bit before registering the marriage. Just to be sure." He nodded and said, "That makes sense. Thanks, Wilma." As the wedding preparations progressed, my unease only grew. Leo noticed my worry and asked, "What's wrong? Ethan getting married should be a good thing, right?" I sighed and replied, "I just have a bad feeling about this." Then I finally met Sophia. She sized me up from head to toe and curled her lips into a sneer. "Oh, so you're the sister? I thought you'd be more sophisticated." "Well, it doesn't matter. We probably won't have much to talk about after the wedding." I was shocked into silence, and Leo's expression told me he felt the same way. But Ethan seemed oblivious, smiling as Sophia spoke. I knew I had to talk to Ethan. I took him aside and said firmly, "You can't marry her. If you do, it'll be a huge mistake." But Ethan was so in love that he didn't want to hear it. "Once I'm married, I'll be as happy as you and Leo," he said cheerfully. "We're planning a big wedding to thank everyone. You'll love it." Meanwhile, Sophia shot us a condescending look. Ava also sensed something was off. She whispered to me, "Is Uncle Ethan really sure about this? That lady seems so mean." I just hugged her and told her not to worry. The wedding day finally arrived. Ava was bouncing with excitement. "It's Uncle Ethan's wedding today. I've never been to a wedding before. I wonder what it'll be like." Despite my misgivings about Sophia, I knew a wedding was a significant event. Leo and I decided to put our feelings aside and support Ethan. We dressed in our best clothes and headed to the luxurious wedding venue. But as soon as we walked in, Sophia pointed at us and burst into laughter. "What are you doing here? I never invited you." "I told Ethan not to invite you," she said mockingly. I was stunned. "What do you mean? We're family. Of course, we should be here," I replied, my voice trembling with confusion and hurt. Sophia wasn't finished. She looked at us with disgust and said, "Having a family like yours here would ruin our image. You're just a bunch of low-lives, and I don't recognize you as family. Now get out." Murmurs spread through the crowd of guests. Everyone was looking at us. I could feel the humiliation burning inside me, but anger was also starting to rise. I had spent a lot of money on a thoughtful wedding gift, and I had genuinely been looking forward to celebrating Ethan's happiness. Ava's eyes were filled with tears, and Leo's face was red with rage. Just then, my father, Tom, suddenly chuckled. This shocked everyone, including Ethan and Sophia, who exchanged bewildered glances. Leo spoke up firmly, "I agree. There's no point in staying where we're not wanted. Let's go." Sophia snapped, "What? What are you talking about? I'm just being honest. You're a poor family, and having you here would damage our reputation." I stared at her in disbelief. "What's wrong with you?" I said, my voice shaking with anger. My mother, Lily, sighed and said, "Sophia, judging people based on money says more about you than it does about them." Sophia hesitated and then blurted out, "But Wilma's husband works for a small company, doesn't he? Compared to a doctor, he's just a nobody." I took a deep breath and said calmly, yes, Leo started at a small company, but now he's the president of a tech firm with over 100 employees. He earns more than a doctor and has much more flexibility. Sophia froze. Her shock was obvious. But I was supposed to marry a doctor for a comfortable life. How can someone around me earn more than a doctor? She stammered. After a few tense minutes, Ethan finally spoke, his voice cold and determined. I'm calling off the wedding. I never thought you'd insult my family like this. If all you care about is money, this marriage would never work. The hall fell silent. My father stifled a laugh and said, that's a wise decision, Ethan. Marrying someone who doesn't respect your family would have been a disaster. Sophia's face turned pale. Wait, what? You're all against me. This is my wedding. You can't just change your mind, she shrieked, tears streaming down her face. I shrugged and said, it's up to you and Ethan. But if you keep insulting me and my family, I won't have anything to do with you. Leo crossed his arms and echoed my words. We then turned to leave. Shortly after, my parents and Ethan met with Sophia's family and formally called off the wedding. Sophia was inconsolable, wailing, I was supposed to marry a doctor and live a rich life. In the end, Sophia's brother was the only sensible one. He said, Sophia, stop embarrassing yourself. You brought this on yourself. He also suggested that Sophia's family should pay the wedding cancellation fees to avoid further humiliation. Ethan was devastated at first, but a few weeks later, he showed up at our house looking surprisingly relieved. I guess I should be grateful. I almost made a huge mistake, he said. We all laughed, knowing he had dodged a bullet. Now, we're all just hoping that Ethan will find someone who truly loves and respects him and his family. And as for that fateful day at the wedding, it's a reminder that true family and love are far more important than money and material things.